Hey YouTubers, this is a continuation of my original film on my Marx Army supply train, and I've added a few cars that I never thought I would find, particularly one. And so for the real collectors, this will be a nice surprise. And of course, this is my Army Supply 500 Canadian Pacific style 242 engine, single reduction motor with extra weight added to the front for traction. These cars are pretty heavy. There's my Army Supply tender. And this is something I did not have in my last film. This was the missing ordnance car. And you will see these are reproductions of Marx shells, or I guess I call them shells. They shoot them out of the cannon here, and they actually work. I actually shot one across the room. These bags in the front are called trench bags, which would have been sandbags. I got them at Michael's, and they say flour on the other side, so I reverse them. And in California, a lot of the elementary schools have projects where they build missions, and this came with one of the sets that for building old California missions. We have missions that go back to the 1700s, and so of course there was a flour mill, and they had the little flour bags. So this, I think, was a great idea for me to be able to find this. So I've moved the siege gun cannon up behind that car so the shells would be handy. And as I've shown before, this tilts. This swings around, all the way around. And as I said, it actually shoots. But here's the real surprise. I had to do a whole lot of dickering. The fellow was selling this, and I don't have my Greenberg's book open at the moment, but this is a obviously an auto carrier, and this was the Army truck, and it came with its original cardboard cover, silver paint, U.S. Army. I've had people ask me if I could flatten it out and copy it on a copying machine. If I flatten it out, it's just going to break. It's extremely stiff, and it's already got, I don't know if you can see it in the film, it's already got some little lines in here where they painted the cardboard, and people have moved it in the past, so it's the paint's wearing thin. But man, I feel really lucky to get this. I had to do a lot of dickering with a guy. He originally wanted a lot of money for it, and I simply got the Greenberg's book out, which shows values, and what he was asking for was, I believe, unreasonable, and I got him down to what I believe was a reasonable price. And fantastic to get this. But I have a friend who's a graphic artist, and I'm going to see if there's any way of reproducing this canopy and without flattening it. And I think it would break if it was flattened. You can see how it looks here. We'll show it from the back. So we don't want to flatten this. But my friend Rocky is extremely talented, and I think he could reproduce this. And I don't want to reproduce them and sell them. I want to reproduce them and give them to my friends who also have these trucks and would like to put a nice canopy on it. Once again, here's your field gun. Tilts up, swings all the way around. Has your guard on the front to protect the pretend men. What I forgot to mention before is you'll notice little holes in the top where they can peek through and hopefully don't get shot. And this is a good view. You can see the crank on it, which makes a machine gun sound, which of course a field gun wouldn't make a machine gun sound, but this was a toy. Here's the old style tank. This is the anti-aircraft gun, which also tilts up. Also swings around and also shoots. This is spring loaded. This piece up here and can be pulled back and locked, and fires a smaller shell. Now the last time I just went and derailed my tank. There we go, I fixed it. It's a long train. The last time I showed this, my spotlight car wasn't working, and so I found a good day when it was fairly warm in the garage and went out there and put a new wire in there and soldered it in. The insulation on the old wire had broken away, and the third rail power was shorting against the body of the spotlight car, and spotlight car aims up and it turns around. I just kind of like to leave it forward so there won't be any more wear and tear on that wire that goes in there. And this was the other missing car that I couldn't find. This was the machine gun car, and I wasn't sure if it had 4 legs or 2 legs, and if it spun around, it has 4 legs. Let's see if I can spin this around without messing up the cars on the other side. It does spin around, and you can see the barrier here, or the shield, has 3 little holes in it so someone can look through, and it has a crank on the side. And when you turn this crank, see if I can do it without derailing it, it clicks, and there's your kid cranking it really fast would make his little machine gun sounds. Let's see, let's get this down or up. Doesn't make any difference, as long as it's not hanging over on the other side. And once again, this is my radio car, where I use a round antenna that's small, and you can see the two large antennas running the length of the car, which are basically handrails for Marx. I'm sure that's what they used, but I don't like the big square antenna that sits on one corner, and it hits my bridge, my tunnels, and it would derail the cars. And these are really beautiful cars. Imagine, these are almost 80 years old, and look at the lithograph on them. And here's our observation car. This, as I said before, is the observation car without the light in the back. Some of them had a little red light. And they call it official car. And there's lots of guys in there, and talking, smoking. Little fellow right here is smoking his pipe. I mean, they really did great litho. It's very highly detailed. You can see this guy's lighting a cigarette. So I'm going to start these trains up. Let's hope everything runs okay. My power button for my transformers. Murphy's Law, my my 1940s train keeps reversing on one corner. There she goes. Let's see if I can get the one up top, the Lionel, to work. There goes the Lionel. It's a Lionel up on top of a little Marx flat. The cannon on the back. I wish the Lionel had some litho on it, or at least some decals. They reproduced it just like the one in 1918, which had nothing on it. It came in either gray or it came in green. They did it in olive drab green, but No decals, no. No litho. I think I may have to put a double reduction motor in this 1940 set. This is the Marx and Meritrain set on the inside track. But I do notice the 1940 set is working really hard. That's a lot of weight. Let's back up. Get a view of all of them. One car that's missing is the airplane car, and it's one I'm not interested in painting because the wings don't fold out. They simply overhang, and once again, like the little antenna on the radio car, I'm just gonna hang it up on stuff, cause derailments.
Yes, Caesar Tomato. Can you speak to you? Then begin. My name is Dr. Stephen Bundy, author of the best-selling book, Dr. Bundy's
Now I can turn this stupid thing off.
Blow your mind. You see, over the last 30 years of research, and performing over
I'm back. These are pretty cool cars. Pretty cool trains. And I'm just surprised that one of the big guns on the old train didn't swing over and cause a derailment, like I noticed the siege gun is trying to. So that's it. Hope you've enjoyed this. Now I have to pack them all back up again for me. Better look at that Lionel up there. Okay, bye-bye. Thanks for watching.